and a good Friday afternoon, good Friday evening, or Saturday morning, depending on where you are in the world. Your Chatting Magpie is here, and I am so excited to read some A World Away with you guys. And, you guys.
Yay!
Hello, gang. How are you?
Hi.
Hello.
Are you ready for the weekend? Are you ready to party?
Woo!
That was yesterday.
By the way, you guys, if it had been today, Fergie, we would have sang happy birthday to a certain beloved taco here. But unfortunately, it's not your birthday anymore. So
even though it's not his birthday today, let's talk about it.
Right. Yeah, I don't want to embarrass you too much for you, but yeah, happy belated birthday again. And yeah, we had a whole bunch of fun. I joined for the first time. I had never played Jackbox games, and I enjoyed it quite a lot. So thank you for inviting me.
Oh, those
to the
are
party.
so much fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
You won the game even.
I did. I did. Later on, I was talking to my sister. She was like, well, did you let the birthday boy win? And I was like, I'm supposed to do that?
No, I win of my own volition. Thank you very much.
Did anybody even think about the fact that we have to let the birthday boy win? Like,
No, we go extra hard
You
on
never
it.
have to.
I have.
at some
You
point,
never
I mean,
have
he
to let
said-
him win.
look.
Yeah, he said he would take a shot every time he loses. So
Wait, was it Hirumi or Yukihime? We were playing Murder House or something like that, and they were racing neck to neck. I was like, I bet she's gonna let him win or something. Actually, no. Like, I think that was when
on the
occurred to-
map?
that was when it occurred to me that maybe we should let Fergie win. I was like, nope, not
No.
gonna let him win.
That's fine.
I went extra hard to win him against the math part.
I'm sorry, I think I need to point this out here. I think someone is letting her evil genius slip out some more.
What, Hirumi?
Someone talking about making the birthday boy lose more so he takes more shots.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's how you do birthday stuff. It was great.
You guys can tell I've never been to a drinking party or drinking game, so always a designated driver. I'm your designated gal to drive you around. Call me up if you're ever in trouble and I need to get home. Anything for a friend. But
Drives me
anyway,
crazy, maybe.
I'm glad that you guys are
Nope.
here and we're all. What's up?
When I was much younger, I was designated driver on my birthday.
So
Bro,
sad.
that's
That is so sad. I hope they didn't get sick in the car.
Oh,
at
yeah,
least.
I showed up fully expecting to get blasted that night, and everybody else was already drinking and they were already tipsy, and I'm like, what the hell? We're not gonna go out if we don't have a DD, so let's just do this.
Right. Good on you for being responsible. Must have sucked for you, but better to be safe than sorry. So, yeah, sometimes you just, have to take one for the team. Unfortunately, it was on your birthday, and yeah, that's pretty sad. But everybody was safe. So, yeah,
I
today's
definitely let them know the next day.
right. So today's Friday, so weekend is here, and it feels weird to do read-alongs on Friday, especially at this hour. So I'm sorry if for some reason you guys were expecting a noontime or 1 o'clock lunchtime read-along. It's just, it didn't happen. I had to do
She's
some.
letting us down, chat.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, life is lifing. I had to go and do groceries and stuff.
Life is lifing.
Yeah,
Not live.
my mom was like, we need to get medicine for your dad. I was like, okay. So we had to go get the stuff. And then I just finished doing some work since I was already. So yeah,
Look,
here we are.
That was just the most millennial sounding phrase that I've heard you say.
I am a millennial. I was a hipster girl. Don't you remember?
I know you are, but that's just why it's so funny to me.
Besides, you guys already saw me on the video, by the way. By the way, if you didn't know, I did a face reveal over on my other channel for members only, and the video is going to be released on Sunday or Monday. I'm still debating whether to do a Sunday or Monday release. But for right now, members have access to the newest video. It is a little video essay that I had a lot of fun working on. And yes, I do show my face in it. It's face reveal time. I hope you enjoy it, whether it's you watch it early or whatever. But yeah, you can totally tell I'm still stuck in millennial mode. I cannot wear the mom jeans. Will never wear mom jeans. I will die on that hill. So yeah. Anyway, lots of fun, but I think we're here to read A World Away. Let's talk about a quick TLDR, because I believe everybody here is pretty well acquainted with what's going on. Basically, we're trying to give Eglantine her Grutrishkeit in this grand ceremony, and then just everything falls apart. Yes, Ferdinand's best laid plans do not work out at all. So here comes Sigiswald and his people, and they're about to they're staging a coup, and there's like fighting, and oh my goodness, what's gonna happen? Because in the midst of all this, what happened to Eglantine? I think something interesting happened to her. Do you guys remember what happened to Eglantine? Patrick, do you remember what happened?
I hate you all.
She had to lay down.
She had to lay down.
With dirt in her eyes.
You killed my queen, damn it!
She's just resting her eyes.
Yes. She needs to conserve her energies.
Technically, you killed her, so.
Yeah. I was thinking about Patrick when I wrote this chapter. I was like, I'm gonna make him.
Oh, sure. I hate you all.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
You're all terrible people.
Thank you. I'll take that as a compliment. All right. So yeah, Eglantine is out. So the country right now is queenless. Who knows? Sigiswald showed up out of the blue. Apparently she thought that she had, he was safely locked in the tower. He's not. He got, he's with the rebels. And, well, we don't know what's going to happen. Now we need to know what's going to happen. So, we're going to find out. Besides, also remember, at some point in chapter 111, Ferdinand had, spiked Rosamine's tea so that she would sleep through the whole day, so she wouldn't get involved with all the stuff that's happening on the day of the first day Archduke Conference. Except that she does wake up, and she's like, where is Ferdinand? So we don't know what's happening with Rosamine, so we'll see. This chapter picks up well, actually not right. I decided to do like a little bit of framing devices for these chapters. We go to the past and then we go into back to this first day Archduke Conference. So, this chapter starts off.
Time walk again.
Crusher says in the chat, oof, I would have joined in to read, but barbecue time. Dude, your priorities are right where they should be. I also would be at the barbecue. I was
going to say, Crusher is right.
Yes.
Crusher is right where he needs to be, because barbecue is barbecue.
Barbecue is barbecue. You got my blessing. Enjoy the burgers and the steak and whatever for those of us who can't. All right. By the way, I do want to say hello to Liz Lepper. Liz, darling, join us if you're able to, but I see you were the very first one on the early chat. Early gang. The very first person on the chat. So welcome and happy to see you. Says, hey everyone, I hope you are all enjoying the roller coaster of emotions. Are you guys enjoying it? As we come to the end of this amazing story. Love you, Magpie. Don't say that until I'm done with it. You might change your mind. Okay. But thank you, Liz. I hope that you enjoy the read along if you are here with listening live or on the replay. Fergie is also here and he says, hi all. Hello, Fergie. Fergie's here. Happy to see you. Hi Remy also says hello. By the way, I want to say something. Hi Remy was the very first person who joined up as a member of the YouTube channel. So
Oh,
hi
really?
Remy, you have that distinction. You were the first one, followed by Teal, then somebody else I don't recognize, and then Red Tempest. So we got some people joining up over there. So, but yeah, you got the distinction.
Wait,
Woohoo!
I haven't done it yet because I thought it was going to be automatically rolled over.
No, it's not going to be automatically rolled over. So
Well, maybe I have to go take care of that.
Okay,
now.
let me explain it. Okay, if you're on Ko-fi, you will remain on Ko-fi. You still get the same stuff as always. Like I still will release early access. You still get Zent tier members are still entitled to like co-hosting with me, and you know all the Zent tier stuff. That's locked in. Zent tier benefits are right now. They're not open right now. So whoever has Zent has those privileges that I'm not opening right now to people for the moment. Same for Archduke and anybody who's on Ko-fi. You have your benefits are locked in. You don't have to become a YouTube member because you're already supporting me on Ko-fi. In fact, I think the only thing that the YouTube has that the Ko-fi doesn't have is YouTube has like legacy badges if you go on the lowest tier and emoticons. So I think that's about it. But anything else is the same. So you can switch on over if you want, or you can just remain with Ko-fi and things remain the same, absolutely the same. So I'm not saying hop on over and join both. I'm just saying some people wanted to do both. So there we go.
Just let this be your reminder to like, subscribe, and join us.
Yep. Join us. Go to my YouTube channel, The Chattering Magpie, and hit the join button to become a member and check out all the little perks that we have available, including Discord access. I have a noble tier there, and it's Discord access. Yep. All right, but that was enough of a tangent. How about we get started with the reading, because that's what we're here for. All right, so today, reading, we have, for chapter 113, The Promise, it was highlighted by Hi Remy, right? Hi Remy?
Yes.
Yay! So Hi Remy, by the way, is going to be reading Chaosifer. Ooh, Chaosifer. Myne is going to be read by Rosamine. What? This is interesting. No, Yukihime, yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Myne or Rosamine is going to be read by Yukihime. Ferdinand is going to be read by JC Fergie. Magdalena is going to be read by Magpie. Eustace was going to be read by JC Fergie. Sigiswald by Patrick, as well as Eckhart is also going to be read by Patrick. And yes, highlights today by Jeremy. So let's get this started. Let me see, where are we? Oh, yes. I'm looking for my music. All right, turning music down. Chapter 113, The Promise. 3 months ago. Rosamine's fingers tightened around the spear of Leidenschaft, her knuckles white as the overwhelming presence in her hidden room sent ice crawling through her veins. The air itself thickened, heavy with an oppressive energy radiating from the figure before her. Chaosifer stood mere feet away, draped in darkness so absolute it seemed to devour what little light remained. And, though her eyes remained hidden, Rosamine felt them, piercing into her, stripping her bare.
You're one of mine.
Her voice, low with a smooth and almost sultry quality, was laced with quiet amusement.
The others might cling to mark you, dyed you in their colors.
Her voice dropped to a whisper that echoed in Rosamine's bones.
But you've always belonged to me, which is why I've come to assist in your little quest.
Rosamine fought to keep her voice steady.
Assist.
The goddess tilted her head, and though her eyes remained unseen, Rosamine felt her gaze slide downward, settling on the glowing blue spear trembling in her grip.
But first,
Chaosiphor purred.
you put that away.
Her tone was honeyed poison, gentle, yet brooking no argument.
I simply abhor that man's colors. You're not his sort. All brute force, unbridled passion, and barbaric displays. No,
Rosamine hesitated. Dismissing her stab would leave her defenseless, but defying a god seemed like a particularly creative form of suicide. She considered summoning Shutsari's shield, but quickly abandoned the thought. The gods were capricious beings whose logic defied mortal understanding. What they valued, what offended them, all beyond human comprehension. She wouldn't risk it. With a steadying breath, she obeyed, dismissing the spear and letting her hands drop to her sides. Chaosopher's lips curled in a slow, satisfied smile.
you have more sense than the most of your kind. Good.
She snapped her fingers, and the hidden room dissolved instantly into writhing tendrils of darkness.
Yip!
Rosamine flailed as she plunged downward, expecting an endless fall, but her descent ended abruptly in a splash. They were standing in a shallow lake that stretched endlessly in all directions, mirroring a vast expanse of stars above. No, upon closer inspection, what she had mistaken for distant stars were not celestial bodies at all. Tiny multicolored orbs hung suspended above the water, glowing soundlessly in the deep stillness of this dark realm, their soft radiance pulsing like trapped fireflies. The silence pressed against her ears, yet the darkness itself seemed alive and heavier than any night she had ever known. This place, Verstegenheim, was unlike anything she had ever seen in Jürgenschmidt or even in the divine realm, where all had been pristine ivory and light. This place was cold, foreign, unknowable, wrong. Beneath her, the surface of the shallow lake was preternaturally still, like polished obsidian, disturbed only by the ripples Chaosopher created as she moved, spreading outward to an infinite, dark horizon. At the heart of this endless void, a raised dais emerged. Atop it stood not a throne, but a crescent moon of impossibly thin silver, its scythe-like curve reminiscent of an executioner's blade. Chaosopher ascended the steps with a languid grace, and with a fluid motion lowered herself into the crescent seat, the unnatural gleam framing her like a goddess of the abyss.
How do they say it?
Chaosopher mused, her voice a purr of amusement as she crossed her legs.
Ah, yes. Riddle me this, Myne. Do you know why you, a mere mortal, have been tasked with severing the blighted, discolored threads on Ventruchit's weave? Why the goddess haven't simply snipped them away themselves, but instead threads in their lofty domains as they watch your hesitation?
Though Rosamine suspected the goddesses were punishing her for disobeying them when she had tried to save Ferdinand, she chose her words carefully.
As I damaged the wave, I must be the one to repair it.
No,
Chaosifer shook her head slightly.
not at all. If a divine hand were to sever those threads, those very special threads, they weren't like any other threads. They will not simply disappear. A divine touch would create a permanent, alternate reality, unpainting the very laws upon which the universe is built.
Her lips curved into a smile that made Rosamine instinctively step back.
Personally, I find the possibilities intoxicating.
She spread her arms wide, encompassing the endless dark.
But Vinchutre and the others lack any appreciation for the true artistry. And so, here you are.
Rosamine clenched her hands into fists.
I know what I must do.
The words felt heavy on her tongue, but she forced them out.
When I do as the goddesses ask and end this wave, everything within it, every memory, every choice, every life will be undone and return to the moment where it all began to unravel.
She had known this, had accepted this, and yet the thought of watching this version of Ferdinand vanish, letting him die, was like a knife twisting in her chest. And so she had accepted the alternative to find her counterpart and end her life instead. The goddess observed her.
And yet, you hesitate.
Rosamine took a deep breath.
Why have you sought me out?
Chaosifer's smile deepened.
Your efforts have provided such entertainment.
Entertainment?
Indeed.
Chaosifer nodded, shadows writhing around her form.
You and Quinta both fascinate me. Forging your own paths, challenging the gods themselves, watching the seven descend into panic when they nearly killed you with their blessings, then holding their fallen god hostage to secure what you desire. Delightful.
The goddess tilted her head back and laughed. The sound was like breaking glass.
Such delicious chaos.
Rosamine said nothing. She had experienced that, suffered through it, and had not found it amusing in the slightest. The last thing she wanted was to be a source of entertainment for a deity whose whims were as unpredictable as shifting tides, and whose dark delights were the source of much suffering in her world.
But
Chaosifer continued, her voice dropping into something almost conspiratorial.
you've reached quite the predicament, haven't you? You must end this damage with, yet can only do so by destroying Quinta, since your alternate self remains beyond reach. Until you sever those threads yourself, you'll be unable to return to your own reality.
Her voice softened.
You could live out your days here if you wished.
Impossible.
Rosamine broke in with unwavering resolve.
Quinta awaits you in your own original wave, does he not?
Rosamine nodded stiffly.
It's Ferdinand, and it's not just his life, but that of 3 others which hangs in the balance.
At this very moment,
The goddess said.
the gods have their hands full dealing with the mess your Ferdinand left. He denounced Miss Nora and cursed himself in the process. Hence the need to repair his thread. But oh, how true, how truly he accomplished his goals.
She chuckled darkly.
Now that spoiled, sniveling rat must answer for her duplicity.
Rosamine's mind raced, trying to make sense of what the goddess was saying, but it struck her that Chaosifer might be speaking in riddles. She refused to rise to the bait. The goddess leveled a glance at her.
And apparently you have no idea what I'm talking about. Do you? Oh, well, but far more interesting to me is the alternative reality you have created, which somehow exists despite the fact that not one of the seven of their kin oversee it.
Her voice slithered into a whisper, rich with something ancient and terrible.
The laws of the natures in this weave are unraveling. The seals are weakening with each passing moment.
A blade materialized in her hand, jagged, black as the void, trailing tendrils of smoke. She ran a fingertip along its edge, admiring it with unsettling delight.
I have longed to see the world burn. No, not simply watch it. I want to plunge into the chaos, to shred apart every thread and every atom, and watch as the god's garden collapses upon itself.
Rosamine stiffened, every instinct urging her to act, to move, to fight, resist. But as the lights above them flickered and vanished one by one, with each word the goddess spoke, a deeper horror took hold. Those weren't just glowing orbs disappearing into the void. They were worlds, realities, millions upon millions of lives, swallowed by a force that thrived on chaos and destruction. The realization sent an icy terror through her limbs, and as the dark haze began to close in on her, it struck her that if it managed to envelop her entirely, it would certainly snuff out her life.
Light! I need light!
Rosamine's thoughts raced, and in a moment of panic she nearly summoned Angel Schnild's divine instrument to drive back the suffocating darkness, until she remembered. Angel Schneider was a subordinate of the goddess of light, and according to legend, Chaosifer's rivalry with her ran deep. Spurned by the god of darkness, Chaosifer harbored a bitter enmity toward the goddess of light who had taken his favor. Calling upon light's power here, and Chaosifer's own domain, would be as reckless as approaching Geddold in the presence of her fiercely jealous husband.
No.
Rosamine forced herself to breathe. She had faced the gods before, and she would not be a pawn in this one's game. It was true that Rosamine was in over her head like never before. Nothing in both lifetimes had prepared her for this, for the abject terror she felt in the presence of this creature of malice and darkness and destruction. But it occurred to her that, while she was on her own, she was not altogether defenseless or powerless.
Grutis height!
Rosamine called out, and immediately she held out the screen of her tablet outwards to pierce through the darkness, much as she had done in her days as Urano, when she'd ended up locked inside a library and had had to light her way with her cell phone to the bathrooms in the dark. Thankfully, it worked. The shadows parted, and Chaosifer gave out a loud "Ha!" that was more like a laugh than anything else. Rosamine blinked with relief as the goddess's blade evaporated into shadows, taking with it the black tendrils that had surrounded her too.
Worry not, Myne,
The goddess said.
You have given me the perfect opportunity to end it all in dust and darkness. And so I shall ensure both you and your Ferdinand achieve your desires. Soon, I might add. I will gather all the great lords and ladies at the Holy Land and strike without fail.
Her smile was a crescent of malice, gleaming in the void like the blade of a guillotine.
What a glorious devastation awaits!
I will do anything to protect him.
Rosamine said.
I mean to bring him back home where he belongs, at any cost.
By any means,
The goddess said, shrugging.
I should suggest, however, that when the time comes, you make use of your little book as you did now.
Chaosopher motioned with her chin to the book of Mestinora that Rosamine still held in her hand. Glancing down at it, Rosamine saw a new circle added to it, one that had not been there before.
How did it get there?
But, seeing Chaosopher's wry smile, the realization struck Rosamine that the goddess wouldn't bother to explain any more than she already had. In fact, she hadn't come to negotiate or bargain in the first place. She wasn't even asking her for her cooperation. She had simply come to announce the beginning of the end. And now that she was involved, she would do as she pleased.
You needn't worry.
The goddess said as if reading her thoughts, her voice dripping with amusement.
I have no intention of harming you or your Ferdinand, or getting in the way of your little quest.
Then, leaning forward ever so slightly, she added, almost fondly, almost possessively.
After all, you're one of mine, and you always belonged to me.
The darkness surged forward, swallowing everything. The infinite dark sea, the raised dice, the crescent throne, and the last glimmers of light, only to disperse and leave Rosamine back in her hidden room, lying unconscious in bed. Final morning of the damaged weeb. Ferdinand had anticipated resistance, but even he had not foreseen the full scope of the treachery. Casimir had sent word barely a bell ago that he and 3 squads of the Sovereign Knights had struck down a large force hiding just north, near the villa of Adelgisa. The force comprised of soldiers from smaller southern duchies and other discontented regions. Within the villa, they discovered dozens of captured high-mannered women and children from across Jürgenschmidt, all previously reported missing, along with a treasure trove of face stones and gold. Apparently, these had been payment to the duchies that had pledged their support. Despite those efforts, this large group had stormed in at the most crucial moment of the ceremony, evading detection from the earlier raid. I had not expected Casimir to be so incompetent! A voice rang out beside Ferdinand, echoing his exact thoughts. He turned to see none other than Magdalena.
Where is your cousin?
Ferdinand asked, dispensing with politeness. How could one be polite while running enemies through with a sword? Eustace! Magdalena barked at a scholarly man approaching, his face ashen.
I fear something terrible has happened.
The man said.
I tried sending an ordinance, but the bird refused to fly to Lord Consort Casimir.
Ferdinand cursed. Casimir was almost certainly dead. Magdalena understood this too. She immediately took command, leading her troops forward to join the Sovereignty Battalion, currently under the Sovereign Knight's Order Vice Commander. Except not long after, another cry pierced the air as Loyalitat, the Vice Commander, fell, clutching his side. A dark haze emanated from his wound. The Sovereignty Knights fought fiercely, cutting down enemy after enemy. Yet the opposition kept coming in relentless waves. To make matters worse, the royal forces were now leaderless. The Sovereign Knight commander was stationed in the safe room, guarding Zent Eglantine, and Casimir was gone. That left only one person to take command: Magdalena. Fierce and unstoppable, she cut down 2 more foes before seizing control of the battlefield. Without hesitation, she barked orders at Heischitze as he led Dunkelfelger's forces into the fray, rallying the troops for an attack. Ferdinand was not fond of the woman, but he could admit that she was effective.
My lord,
Eckhart said, returning to his side.
Ehrenfest evacuated safely, but Lord Sylvester said for you not to get killed, please.
He should worry about himself first.
Ferdinand replied grimly, looking around the chaotic fighting, at the panicking nobles, and smelling the acrid scent of blood and smoke from exploding magic tools. He felt grimly satisfied that at least Rosamine had been spared this horror. If only the opposing forces would just die already! He couldn't tell where they were all pouring in from, rabid hordes emerging from some nightmarish hell.
I shall rule this country.
Sigiswald's voice rang out again. Ferdinand blinked and looked around, surprised to see the blonde man standing on the stage, exposing himself like a fool. Standing on a raised platform made him a prime target. What was he thinking? And unless he wore it underneath, he didn't even have his Fey armor on.
Excellent. Squad 4 will take him down.
But it wasn't Squad 4 that did the job. Instead, a tall figure in stark black attire, one of Ferdinand's own people, leapt forward. Wielding a strange black blade, the hooded figure slit Sigiswald's throat, ending his ravings in a shocked gurgle of blood. A piercing scream split through the cacophony as spectators watched the gruesome sight of Sigiswald stumbling forward, blood spraying everywhere, before he collapsed to the ground. A black haze seemed to surround him. But Ferdinand had no time to ponder as the assassin nimbly fled, evading capture, headed straight toward him. Ferdinand reacted instantly, his sword flashing as he swung at the attacker, but his blade passed through nothing. The assassin in black stopped and turned toward him, and Ferdinand saw with a cold chill of alarm that the hooded figure's features were those of a strikingly beautiful woman. But her eyes were anything but human. Cold dread crawled down his spine, his senses screamed danger, but before he could process it, the world around him shifted. A violet-black glow erupted beneath his feet. The intricate sigils of a magic circle shone underneath him as if burned onto the floor. The dark haze emanating from it looked eerily similar to that which he'd seen earlier seeping from Loyalitat's wound, the same darkness that had claimed his life. Time seemed to halt, or more like the din and stench of chaos remained outside, suspended in a moment between heartbeats, while here, in this impossible sanctuary. Ferdinand turned sharply, and standing within the glow, amidst the frozen tableau of battle, present yet separate from it, was Rosamine. Her midnight blue hair swayed in a windless breeze, her expression tense. He realized that he had just been run through with a sword, except it hadn't harmed him. Had it not been for whatever was happening, he would be lying on his side like Loyalitat or Sigiswald, life draining away into the marble floor. Outside the circle, Eckhart remained frozen in a heartbreaking tableau, his body contorted in a desperate attempt to defend his lord. Too late.
What is going on? What have you done?
He demanded, his voice edged with fury that barely masked his fear.
And where is Eustace?
Taking the sovereignty,
She said hurriedly, her words stumbling out with urgency.
he had no other choice after he remembered me and was made to understand. I came here as fast as I could after you dragged me. Could you?
Ferdinand's grip tightened around her arms, his voice sharp with frustration.
You fool! Are you blind? Can't you see how bad it is out there? I did this for your own good. What did you think you could accomplish by coming here? I can't protect you while...
Then forget all of it and stay with me!
She pleaded, her voice raw with desperation. For a moment, he could only stare. Her words echoed in his mind, not just hers, but another voice, identical yet different, whispering that same fragile, impossible wish.
Stay with me. Love me. That's all I really want.
His breath caught.
Forget all that?
Each syllable cut deep.
Ehrenfest? The ones who will die when Jürgenschmidt collapses? Are you even listening to yourself?
He was no hero, and he wouldn't delude himself or her that he was here to save the world. His purpose was far simpler, far more selfish. He was here to keep the people he loved from suffering. Yet, hearing her say that, hearing her suggest abandoning everything they had toiled for, ignited something raw and furious inside him. It made him want to shake her, to force her to see reason. His eyes burned into hers, searching, almost pleading for her to understand.
What about Alexandria?
He demanded.
Our library city. The future we swore to build together. Was that all a lie?
Listen to me.
Rosamine said, wrenching herself from his grasp.
I never said that this Jürgen Schmidt would survive. In a matter of moments, this will all come crashing down. It's the will of the gods.
The gods.
Ferdinand was having a difficult time keeping up. Not only that, but a horrible dawning realization was beginning to take root in his mind.
Explain.
I don't have time for that. Just please, Ferdinand, trust me. You said you would. Once it's all over, we'll be back home, just like I promised. I swore to you I wouldn't leave you behind this time. Don't you remember?
He did, but he had never expected it to involve something like this.
And everyone else. What about them?
Ferdinand's gaze drifted outside their sanctuary, landing on Eckhart, loyal, steadfast Eckhart, who had abandoned everything to follow him and had been mid-swing against an enemy knight when Ferdinand had been pulled into this strange, time-stopping circle. The sight of him reminded Ferdinand of all the people whose lives were woven with his. Eckhart, Eustace, Lasfram, Sylvester, and...
Myne.
The name echoed in his mind like a funeral bell.
Do you truly expect me to stay here while our country collapses outside?
The fury in his voice was almost uncontrollable, raw with grief and betrayal.
You expect me to sit idly by?
Ferdinand, please.
Her voice had diminished to a pleading whisper. He glanced around him and spotted the black-hooded figure with the inhuman eyes, still frozen in place like everyone else. He had to stop her, this creature wearing a woman's face.
No.
He strode out of the circle against Rosamine's pleas. The moment he crossed the boundary, the world lurched back into motion. a cacophony of blood and rage and steel. He saw now that the battle had devolved into absolute chaos. With Sigiswald fallen, the traitors should have been put down, yet they prevailed. Even worse, people were fighting against each other indiscriminately. Sovereignty knights against sovereignty knights, black-clad traitors against each other. Even Magdalena and her dwindling cohort were pushing back a troop of black-caped sovereignty soldiers, her face a mask of grim determination. And yet no one, absolutely no one, was paying him any attention. The frenzy going on around him was blind to his presence, as if he were a ghost walking among the living.
My lord, you're all right.
Eckhart gasped beside him, wide-eyed.
Like the seven. I had thought...
His relief was interrupted, however, as Rosamine appeared, hot on Ferdinand's heels.
Come back!
She cried. Eckhart, hearing the familiar voice, stumbled backward at the sight of Rosamine. His breath hitched. She looked like Myne. The resemblance was so stark, he froze in place.
Myne?
Big brother Eckhart?
What are you doing here? How?
His voice dropped.
And the baby? Don't tell me.
He went white with dread. Ferdinand did not need this misunderstanding right now, of all times and places. He glanced in the direction of the black figure. Ferdinand could tell it apart from the other black-hooded traitors. Something about the height and languid grace it moved with let him know his prey.
That's who I need to stop.
If Jürgen Schmidt was to survive, he would need to stop this creature at all costs. He turned to Eckhart, whose eyes were still fixed on Rosamine with a mixture of hope, confusion, and horror.
Mine is still an Ehrenfest.
Ferdinand stated coldly.
Despite the resemblance, this is another person altogether. Take her somewhere safe. I'll be back. Ignore whatever madness she speaks. Gag her if necessary.
Yes, sir.
Eckhart obeyed without question, seizing Rosamine's arms in an iron grip.
No! Please, Ferdinand! You don't understand!
She thrashed against Eckhart, her voice rising to near prophetic intensity.
The threads of fate are unraveling. The wave will be destroyed if you trust me. If you stay with me, I can save you.
Eckhart froze when he heard her desperate pleas.
And mine? What about her? And the child?
His voice was raw, etched with something dangerously close to fear. His fingers digging into her arms as he almost shook her in his grasp. Rosamine faltered, confused by Eckhart's question. However, that single hesitation shattered him.
No.
He whispered, his face turning ashen. His grip slackened and he turned to Ferdinand, eyes wild.
No, no, no. I don't know who this is. But you can't let her do this.
Recognizing the dangerous glint in Eckhart's eye, Ferdinand swiftly stepped between them. His gaze burned into Rosamine, his voice low and lethal. Turning to her, he spoke.
Are you truly saying the destruction is inevitable, and you will only intend it to save me?
He stepped closer, eyes burning with intensity that could melt snow. Smelt stone.
What of Ehrenfest? Our people, our family.
Rosamine shut her eyes, unable to meet his stare.
I'm only here for you.
She admitted, her voice cracking.
Everything else will disappear.
Eckhart roared in anguish and lunged, only for Ferdinand to hold him back.
Tell me then.
Ferdinand pressed, his voice sharp as a blade.
What happens to mine?
Tears slipped down Rosamine's cheeks as she whispered.
Aren't you ready? I'm only here for you. What happens to me, to her, I can't do anything to stop it.
Ferdinand's expression hardened. Understanding dawned with brutal clarity. She was going to sacrifice herself, or rather, the version of herself in this world, to save him. The realization struck him like a physical blow.
If you think that I would allow that, then you don't know me at all.
His voice dropped to a whisper, yet carried more power than any shout.
There is no reality, no timeline, no existence where I would stand by and watch you throw yourself away.
His gaze pinned her in place.
How can you ask me to do nothing?
Rosamine choked on a sob, her whole body trembling.
Can you ask me to do the same?
She screamed, her voice raw with anguish.
To watch you die and not do anything to stop it. I want.
For a moment, Ferdinand closed his eyes. When they opened again, his expression was unreadable. Only steeled resolve remained. Glancing over his shoulder, he spotted the hooded figure, still on her rampage of killing. Her wraith-like movements almost beautiful in their deadly precision.
Oh, I understand all too well of what you are capable of,
Ferdinand murmured. Then, with finality, he turned to Eckhart. Eckhart stood rigid, his face cold and pale, but Ferdinand knew that he was at his breaking point. And yet there was no one else he couldn't trust with this.
Don't look at me like that.
Ferdinand hissed.
I will put a stop to this. I promise to do everything in my power so you may return to Myne and see your child in the summer.
He looked at Rosamine one last time before giving Eckhart the order.
You know what to do.
Eckhart's jaw clenched.
Understood.
He said, voice hollow.
I entrust to you the lives of my wife and child.
You can count on me,
Ferdinand said, his words carrying the weight of an oath. Without another word, Ferdinand turned and strode away toward the black hooded figure and a fate that would only rip them apart.
No!
Rosamine cried out, lunging forward desperately, but Eckhart caught her with ease. She fought like a wild thing, kicking, clawing, sobbing, but he was immovable, a granite mountain enduring the fury of a winter storm. He bound her in a flash, not in bands of light, but in a strong cord that she couldn't break. Then, without hesitation, he threw her over his shoulder.
Ferdinand!
Rosamine sobbed, her voice breaking.
Come back!
Hot tears streamed down her face as Eckhart carried her away, and she watched helplessly through her tears as Ferdinand disappeared into the chaos and the carnage and faded from sight. She knew that whatever happened now would simply end with Ferdinand waking up safely in Alexandria. Eustace, Eckhart, and Masfram would too, and she would return there as well. But if he perished here, outside of the protective circle she had formed, if he died like all the others in the collapse of Jürgen Schmidt, then this Ferdinand, this broken, maddening, yet passionate version of him would be lost forever. And every moment they had shared in this weave, every laugh and kiss, every whispered confession, every fleeting touch, and every ounce of love they had nurtured between them would all vanish like smoke. She would remember, but he would not. The thought crushed her. Worse still was the kind of death that awaited him. Evergleeb's harsh judgment was no ordinary demise. It was agony beyond mortal comprehension. She loved this Ferdinand as much as the one in Alexandria, and losing him this way Watching him walk into certain death without her, and because of her, was unbearable.
I started this mess. I should have ended it long ago.
Regret coiled in her chest, suffocating her. But Eckhart carried her forward, relentless, unmoved. The hall and all its chaos faded behind them, yet strangely, no one stopped them. No one even looked their way. Rosamine twisted, desperate.
Please, Eckhart, let me go. I don't want to hurt you, but if I must, I will.
He did not answer. And that was when she realized that this wasn't her reliable, dependable brother. This version of Eckhart was another man altogether, and he had no love or regard for her. He couldn't trust her. He wouldn't help her. Unlike with Eustace, whom she had been able to reason with earlier, nothing she could say would sway this Eckhart because she remembered Ferdinand's words.
I promise to do everything in my power so you may return to Myne and see your child in the summer.
Wait, does that mean...
She went cold with shock when it all clicked into place at long last.
Oh my God. What has to mean this wave been up to?
Was that the reason why Ferdinand had been so fiercely protective of Myne? Why even now he refused to relinquish hope that destruction could be averted?
Let me go! You don't understand!
She cried with renewed desperation, thrashing wildly.
You won't survive this! No one can!
Eckhart didn't falter.
He's survived worse.
Not this!
Her tears burned hot.
You don't understand what's coming!
His grip tightened.
I do understand.
He growled.
Which is why I won't let you stop him.
And as they moved further from the hall, from Ferdinand, from the last chance to preserve what she had fought so desperately to save, Rosamine felt the first tremors of the coming collapse, the threads of fate beginning to snap, one by one, as the fabric of this reality prepared to unravel completely. And soon, there would be nothing left. End of chapter. Oh, Hiremi, I love that
okay.
laugh.
that echoing laugh at the end there was perfect.
Perfect.
I love it.
Wow, Hiremi, that was genius. See, this is the stuff you can't get when you read a book, like echo, laughter. Yeah. Chaosopher right now is having a blast. She is having a blast. The time of her life. Yeah.
Wow, this really long session was so good.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Starting with like the Chaosopher special effects version. Wow. Whew. You guys just get better and better at literal chills. So good.
Wow, it's so good. Oh my gosh.
I'm glad this time we've got both Fergie and Patrick to get Eckhart and Ferdinand and also Rosamine. Everybody's yelling, everybody's crying, everything is so intense. I love it.
It was perfect.
Yeah, so yeah, everyone is here. Hello, except Teal's not here. Teal, darling, we miss you. But yeah, the usual crew is here. And for those of you who aren't unable to join us at this time, we invite you to join. We still have a few more chapters to go. There's one more chapter. Yeah, we're gonna finish this sucker. I don't know how I'm gonna finish this story because It's too much from my heart, you guys. one more written chapter to go, and I'm still not done with the last two. Wish me luck. Sharon Young is here. Hey, Sharon. Oh my gosh, you're here. Welcome, welcome. Say hello to Sharon, everybody. Says, you all were brilliant, right? They were amazing. Okay, so the sheer, like, oh my gosh, Fergie, when you were screaming like Ferdinand is angry and in anguish because of the horrible dilemma you're in, like, that was like stabbing my heart. I was like, no. And then Yukihime,
and Rosamine.
yes, and then Yukihime, like, with, you have such a knack for like doing emotional Rosamine. Yukihime, bravo.
Thank you. I am read another crying session for me. Woo! I'm always here for dramatic. Yeah, because like you can't see me, but I am genuinely crying, and also like yes, like Ferdinand yelling. Oh my god! I was like putting myself in the Rosemine's shoes. Like, oh my god, I'm actually scared, but like I still have to get through. Like what? Oh my god! Yes, very intense.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Thank you. And Patrick as Eckhart. Okay, you guys. Eckhart had very few lines because he's like trying to process what the heck is going on. Like, what a time to catch sight of freaking Rosamine.
Yeah, and he must miss her so much, and seeing her there, like, Myne, you're here, but now.
Right? Oh my gosh. Yeah. I really feel sorry for everybody in this chapter. But I think the person I feel the most sorry for is poor Eckhart. He is like, I don't know, like I feel like Patrick kind of did like the whole like kind of tone of like somebody who's like just kind of containing his rage and his need to, I don't know, just very,
Yeah, it was perfect.
Yeah, so very good.
Especially, like,
That's always how I've.
Mhm.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I just want to say like it was one line which was like when Eckhart accepted Ferdinand's order in the end, it was perfect. Like it was like, yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, just dead. Okay, you can say.
Yes.
Yeah, it's how I've always envisioned Eckhart. He's a strong soldier, and he's always controlled. So he's a roiling mess of emotion deep inside, but he knows in this moment he needs to be Ferdinand's knight.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to put all that aside and do as his lord has ordered him.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, because he's there to protect Ferdinand, whether it's easy for him or not. And right now, for sure, all he wants to do is fly to Myne and be with her and protect her. Oh my gosh, imagine just the absolute anguish he's feeling right now. She's like, put me down, I have to go, like, nobody's gonna, and she's like, and he's like, no, I won't let you. I have something to do. I will not fail on this. So, oh man, talk about a dilemma. But that's what makes him such an excellent, loyal retainer. He puts his lord above himself and obeys without question. So I told you guys, well, I didn't tell you guys, but I did hint at some point there had to be like a point where it was going to be like decision-making time. Kind of hinted it at some point when Elvira and he had a conversation on a chapter like, what are you gonna do? And we got our answer. He was hoping that it wouldn't come to like having to make a choice, but there's a choice. He made the choice. Of course, we still have to see a little bit more. Next chapter picks up on more of Eckhart and other characters. So do look forward to that. But we'll talk about that next time. I don't want to get too far ahead on the next chapter.
Yes, and I'm very much hoping that Sharon is able to join us next time.
I hope so too, Sharon. I really do enjoy reading your comments when you watch the replays. So do join us if you're able to. I know, like, usually we do like weird times in the middle of work hours sometimes. So this happens to be on a Friday afternoon, which I never usually do. So we'll see. All right, so next,
Okay, become a member on the main channel and come here to Discord with us.
yes, if you're able
we would
to,
love to
Sharon.
have you here.
If you can, Sharon,
Let's
join
chill
us.
the magpie channels.
Do join us. You can become a member through YouTube. I have YouTube memberships activated, so check it out. But either way, just your support with commenting and liking and whatever, that's just really, really goes a long way. So thank you for that support. Really, it helps out a lot. Says, during the day, I'm usually asleep except when I'm picking up my son from work. All right, timing is usually bad. Okay, yeah. Night owl in the house, apparently. There you go. There you go.
For me, actually, it helped a lot after I became a member, because I could see a week in advance what the reads are the reads are gonna be. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna schedule it. Oh, another reason to come here. You can know when we are actually going to be live a lot sooner.
Right. Another thing I want to point out about Sharon is, I think, Sharon, you joined us for the first couple of read-alongs, and then you went ahead and caught up the whole AO3. You read it in a few days, if I remember one of your comments. And so Sharon is caught up to the very, very, the most updated chapter. And I feel kind of guilty now, since I check AO3 daily, so I read the new chapters when they upload. Sharon, you know what? This coming week, I have to upload a new chapter, because otherwise we won't have anything to read on Friday. So expect that update soon during this week. I am working on it. It's a hard chapter to write. No more details than that, but it's a hard chapter. We're almost to the end, so the second to last chapter. But yeah, be assured I will post it before Friday, because somebody has to highlight it. I think it's Haremy's turn to highlight, right? 116? No, 115? Whose turn is it?
Yeah.
Haremy, yeah. 115. Yeah. All right, so Fergie says, I too have read 114. I know you. I think I had you be my my proofreader for 114, right, Fergie?
Yeah, it's a great chapter.
Yeah. Yeah, I really appreciate. Shout out to all the proofreaders and beta readers. I write this thing in the middle of the night, and I'm send it out to people hey, you want to proofread some stuff? You don't have to if you don't want to, but I would really appreciate it, and they're really, really good at it. So Fergie's one of those. So Fergie, I think, was the only one that proofread that one. So if you see any mistakes, it's all Fergie's fault. Kidding. I did have.
Oh, I see how it is.
I don't know if I had other people proofread it, but I'm sure. I remember you did put in some really, really good lines that I was like, yeah, that hits better. So thank you, Fergie. Thank you, Sharon says, because it was so good. Okay, yeah, I'm glad that you enjoyed it. Let's see. Update coming, even if it's stop it, Sharon. No more details. All right. So let's talk about this chapter that we just had. I mean, what else can we talk about? Just the emotions run high. Let's talk about the first scene with Chaosopher. Yes, we had Hirami doing the echoey voice. Imagining Verstigheim, whatever you say it, was really fun. It just came to me. I imagined a race dice, whatever you say it. Days? How do you say it? D-A-I-S? D-A-I-S. Dice?
I've never really... Yeah, I've... There are so many different ways that it could be pronounced that I have no idea.
Yeah, I know. Fergie, do you know how to say it? I think you were saying it.
Diest. That's how I've always said it.
Dang it! I said it
But I'm
wrong
wrong.
both ways. You know what I do, you guys?
Who
I like
knows?
to hedge. I like to hedge my bets. I say it if I have to say it more than 3 times. I say each different time differently, so that I at least have it right once.
Cover all your bases.
I got it
Strategy.
right all the times. Okay, well, whatever. I tried. Ooh, Yukihime is sharing some. Ooh, these are nice. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can open them on browser. Move. How can I open it on a browser? Open in browser. Oh, I love this. This looks great. Did you generate this?
No, I'm anti-IE, but I found those online.
Wow,
So
these
maybe
are
they are
amazing. Okay.
Maybe they are IE, but I just found them.
Okay, let me share them in big screen. Hold on a sec. How do I do this? How do I do this? Let's try this then. Okay, so this is the first one. I like this a lot because it's kind of like that. Okay, so you see her eyes? It's supposed to be like that kind of like eerie, not human eyes. Like her irises are just not right. It's just really creepy. Yes, this is so good. I like what
And
she's...
the hair really the same as the tentacles.
Yeah. So, yes. And, oh my gosh, it's, I think one of the closest one of the ones that comes the closest to her. However, I do like this one too. Oh, how can I open another tab? Hold on a sec.
There's when you click the picture on the up right side, there is a square with the arrow.
Yeah, hold on. I'm trying to see if I can somehow open this somewhere. Okay. So I have a tab open. Okay, here we go. This is the other one. Oh, wow. Yeah, I love the veil. The veil is everything. If only we could get like those jewels, but like violet glowing, like ultraviolet glowing, because she's supposed to have like nothing gold. She is anti-gold. She is anti-everything gold.
She very much hates the goddess of light.
She
So
does
yes,
hate the goddess of light.
anti-gold.
I do have to say though, she does have exceptions, okay? Because if you guys will remember, there was a part where she one of the chapters, don't forget, there was a chapter where she appears in the godly domain, and she says that she is fond of one particular goddess. And this particular goddess happens to be I think a subordinate of light. She likes Liebeskilfe. So she thinks Liebeskilfe is, yeah. She thinks Liebeskilfe is like the bee's knees. She's like, I like her. But of course it's because Liebeskilfe is a child, like it's as gremlin as you can get if you are a light subordinate. But other than that, she hates everything that has to do with light. Oh man, I just love these AIs. Yep. Black lips, check. Weird, scary eyes, check. Black nails, I never said it, but yes, she does have black nails, black lips, everything.
I would be careful with your expressed love for AI. Some people do not like that, but
I know.
I personally like it.
I
And
personally
I'm
am
still
not.
hoping that they are not.
I personally
I'm
am
hoping
not.
they are not.
Yeah. I personally am not. I'm not in. Anyway, I know you guys know my stance on AI, but I'm saying like this whether it's this depiction, this expression of whoever this is or whatever this is, it gets really close to what I had envisioned. So good job.
Yeah, you know what it brought me to, because that's what I searched for Nyx, goddess
yes.
of darkness and everything like that from Greek mythology.
Yeah, exactly. Right. The only thing I wish there could be other colors instead of black, because I was like, she's not black. She's not the goddess of darkness. But how I reasoned it is she is so in love with the god of darkness that she took his colors and she's trying to emulate at least his kind of like his call it aesthetic. She likes his aesthetic.
Yes, aesthetic.
So that's him. That's how it goes. All right. So we had that chapter with Chaosopher. You know what? I was like, okay, if like I was actually kind of like looking for a way, like what would Rosamine do if she's caught in the middle of like darkness? What Urano-like thing would she do if she can't use her like the usual weapons, right? Because she can't, show aggression against the goddess. So I remember that she has a tablet as a Gutr's height, and how I myself sometimes have to tiptoe about at night with my phone to make sure that nobody wakes up when I'm gonna go to get some water or whatever. So I was like, yes, Rosamine is gonna use her tablet to shine light, because I couldn't think of anything else that she could do without risking the displeasure of Chaosopher. Obviously, I don't think Chaosopher would have killed her or anything like that, but she couldn't risk it. But yeah, there was several times, or I mean at least once, where her friend said that she was locked in a library, or she was the library closed and she got locked in like at least once. So just kind of wanted to bring up a little bit of Urano in there. Let's see.
Do the Grutran sites usually have lights, or is this a Rosamine feature?
It's a Rosamine feature. The Grutris height has like the letters glow, so you can read it in the dark because the letters glow. But because Rosamine has a tablet, she can increase brightness or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I do not think that the book glows, or maybe it does glow. But in her, like the way she thinks is you need to use your phone and just light up your life. That was that. I'm reading the comments here. I almost not. Fergie says, I always imagine if any color was used, would be a purple accent with chaos. Yeah, me too. It's like a purplish glow, like ultraviolet glow. That's kind of like her color. Like, you know how like human eyes can't see ultraviolet? Like her colors are beyond the realm of what humans can see. So the closest you can get to it is like deep violet. So that's what I imagine Chaosopher. Again, she's been banished from. She's the unfavored one. So, and she lives in a realm that's kind of forbidden. Nobody can access it. So she's kind of like doing her own thing. She has her own color, but she manifests in Rosamine's with Rosamine as somebody wearing pitch black. Just yeah. Yes, Sharon says, let's see, the goddess of chaos loves the goddess of pranks, of course. Yes. There are a few details from that chapter, by the way. I do encourage you to go and read it. It has some details. Yes, it is the chapter with the blade, the bloody blade clanging to the ground. There are some details there that might help. I forget what number it is. It's an interlude. I think it's called In the God's Realm.
Interlude.
Interlude. Then Sharon also says Rosamund didn't have the foresight to equip her Gutricide with a flashlight. Oh yeah, unfortunately. But she can always flip it, maybe, and just do her best. But she did get a new circle. What do you guys think that circle is? How did it appear?
I am very scared that it's a teleportation to like Ehrenfest in some way. I don't know, like I'm still waiting for the ball to drop, I guess.
Anybody
I am
else?
very fearful for mine, okay?
Anybody else have thoughts about the circle that appeared?
I mean, when I first read, I thought that he was going to get teletransported to Chaos Realm. But yeah, who is the beautiful girl whose eyes seem like they are dead? Would be, yeah.
All right. Sharon says Chaosifer gave it to her, so it can't be good. All right. So here's the thing, you guys. Remember when Ferdinand entered his hidden room and he saw her doing something with some circle?
Yes.
And you guys remember today when he was in the middle of the fight and suddenly he found himself inside like this kind of strange thing.
Oh,
And he saw...
that was
Remember, Chaosifer said, when the time comes, you may want to use the little Gutricide. And that's when Rosamund saw a circle. Yes.
Oh.
That was meant. That was meant for Rosamund to, be able to save Ferdinand, and while Chaosifer had her fun. Except that things aren't going to plan, apparently. Who knows what's going to happen now?
Yeah, that was also meant for us to kind of figure it out a little bit, because I see that you put all the pieces together, but we still couldn't see the puzzle. Like, it's beyond me.
Well,
but I feel like you did great with the foreshadowing.
Well, there's still other stuff that's gonna happen, and I told you this. It won't ruin any surprise or anything coming down the line. Just wanted to, because I kind of, you'll see. Anyway, so
Thank you for spelling it out.
no problem. Okay, Sharon Young said, I thought the circle that stopped time was the one Rosamund was working on, not the Chaosifer one. Yeah, so she was working on that circle. She got it out of her book and she put it on this huge parchment. Not a huge parchment, but yeah, actually it was a huge parchment. And so, yeah. Well, so long parchment.
I can say now that I think the person who will get stabbed, it's Eckhart.
Oh.
Nope, not Eckhart. Nope. You can't gaslight me into this one. No, you can't do that. No, it's got to be either Ferdinand or Myne. You can't.
No. He's going to be stabbed right through his Eckhart.
Oh.
Do it for the fun.
Oh my gosh, you guys.
If you change your ending just for the pun, Magpie, then
What?
I got nothing.
Look. Someone's gotta die, you guys. Or at least that's what you guys think. Because you guys are all assuming a lot of stuff. You guys are assuming a lot of
two
stuff.
people needs to die based on what you have set up in this story.
Based on
It's
the
either
bloody
Ferdinand or Myne.
Based on the bloody there's a bloody blade somebody got stabbed. Or that's what we're all assuming, right? Wait for chapter 115. 115 should answer all the questions. So I should probably log out and start typing it out.
Next week.
Yeah, next week, Friday. By Friday, we should have answers, at least those following on AO3. If you can't wait for the next chapter, do go into the description and do read some A World Away. There's only one chapter left. I mean, one chapter written that you guys haven't read. But I'll get to the next one. I'll update it this week. So Sharon Young, be on the lookout for that. Yeah, that's all. Anything else about this chapter? Sigiswald died. By the way, that sound, that gurgling sound that you made caught me entirely by surprise.
Yeah, I also laughed.
Teal is in the chat. Welcome, Teal. It says, and Sharon Young also says, in order to collapse the weave, it has to be Ferdinand or Myne. Eckhart is having a hard enough time here. Let the poor guy alone. Right, yeah.
Yes! Thank you, Sharon. Thank you. I agree with you.
Yeah. And she does say also the sound effects today were epic. Yes, so we got reverb, we got wrath and anguish from Ferdinand, we got cold stoic acceptance from Eckhart, we got crying and hysterics from Rosamine. So good. And then I did Magdalena, and somehow I got really, really distracted, and I did not do like proper Magdalena voice. So I'm sorry, you guys. She had one line, I had one job, and I messed it up. It didn't come out as authoritative and righteous and beautiful. But oh well, it happens.
Wait. It's not one job. You narrated all the chapters.
That's true, but I think character voices are more important than the narrator sometimes. I mean, you guys can.
Yeah, but sometimes the narrator also gets into it. Like, I love it that at some point. I love your narration in general. Like you're always like, and then this came and then done. And like, it's like intensing. The intensity is growing.
When you guys get into it, I can get into it. But if you guys don't read it with conviction and passion, I will just kind of hold back. But when you guys like read with intensity and intent, that lets me go wild. So I bounce off of you guys. So thank you today, because I felt like I did a better job because you guys did an excellent job. So bravo to everybody. You guys, that was great. Chapter probably not so fun because a lot of tough decisions had to be made. Certainly this world is descending into chaos. Ferdinand is not going along with the plan. Rosamine finds herself. I wanted to flip the roles, you guys. This is the intent. He's the one that's gonna run. He's the one that's gonna run rampant. She wants to like stay here, like within the constraints. That's what Ferdinand's role is, to like limit her to like safe constraints so she can do what she needs to do without getting hurt. She wants to do that. But Ferdinand is now the role of the gremlin. He is the one that says no to your restraints, no to what you want. I will go and save the people. So roles are flipped. That was intentional. Yeah. Anyway, it's a different weave. It's a world away. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so I think we got all the talking points. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. You guys, I had so much fun today. I hope you join us for Wednesday when we read the next chapter. Whew. Ferdinand is going after the baddie. Let's see if he's successful. He will be successful? Maybe? Yes, he will be successful. Because he's Ferdinand.
Spoiler.
Of course, he's Ferdinand. Oh my gosh. All right, you guys, we'll see you then on Wednesday. Before we go, I just want to be sure to say thank you to the following people who read today. We had Eckhart was read by... No, well, okay, let's do this. Patrick read Sigiswald and Sigiswald's gurgling and death rattle. Sigiswald and Eckhart was read by Patrick. Eustace and Ferdinand was read by JC Fergie. Magdalena was read by Magpie. Myne was read by Yukihime, and the icon that is Chaosifer, with all her reverb glory, was read by Hirami. Of course, this was highlighted by Hirami, and this read-along was brought to you by supporters like you. Thank you for your support, you guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your Friday or weekend. We'll see you on Wednesday. And also, again, go to the other channel. I have early release video for members, and new video drops either Sunday or Monday. I still don't know what day I'll have it. Probably Monday. Yeah, let's let the other people wait. Alrighty, guys. Thank you for reading, everybody. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Adios, everybody.
Bye bye.
Ciao.